Coming to amino acid structure, as you can see here, uh, there is a central alpha carbon atom to which alpha carboxyl group, alpha amino group, hydrogen and a R group is attached, where this R group is a variant. Why we are calling this middle carbon atom as alpha carbon, I will explain that here. As you can see, this is the highest oxidized state of carbon, which is the carboxyl group. The carbon atom attached next to it is called as alpha, the next one is beta and the next one is gamma. So the components of amino acid structures are alpha carboxyl group, alpha amino group, hydrogen atom and the R group. Now we coming to chirality. So when all the four components of the alpha carbon atom are different, we call it as chiral carbon. As you can see in this picture, glycine contains carboxyl group, amino group and two hydrogen atoms. That means all the four groups are not different. That means this is an achiral carbon. Whereas in this case of alanine, CH3, NH3+, CO- and hydrogen, where all four components are different, so we'll call it as chiral carbon. So alanine is an example of chiral carbon and glycine contains achiral carbon. So amino acid containing chiral carbon are optically active. That means they can rotate the plane of plane polarized light. All amino acids are optically active except glycine. Amino acid can exist as D or L configuration, which are non-superimposable mirror images of each other. Mostly naturally occurring amino acids are found in L configuration. So here I am showing a light source to which the light is passing through. There is a polarizer which will polarize the plane polarized light. So here it is showing as plane polarized light. Now there is a sample tube containing chiral compound. Now when light will pass through this tube, the direction of this plane polarized light will rotate. If it is rotating in the clockwise direction, we'll call it as dextrorotatory. If it is in anti-clockwise direction, we'll call it as levorotatory. So here it is, I am showing that how glyceraldehyde is named as L or D. As you can see, according to this L-glyceraldehyde, the hydroxyl group is on the left side, and for D-glyceraldehyde, it is on the right side. If you are considering hydroxyl group, if it is on the left side, you will name it as L-glyceraldehyde. If it is on the right side, you will call it as D-glyceraldehyde. And these are the mirror images of each other, which are called enantiomers. And again, if hydroxyl group is not there, hydrogen group is there, you have to consider the nomenclature based on the hydrogen group, which is opposite to hydroxyl group. Suppose if the hydrogen is on the right side, we'll call it as L-amino acid. If it is on the right side, we'll call it as D-amino acid. Now we'll come to optical rotation and specific rotation. As I described this image before also, I am going to talk about this particular rotation by a chiral compound. And so optical activity is measured by polarimeter. It is measured of an angle of rotation. Optical rotation is defined by the amount of rotation of the angle of plane polarized light by an optically active compound. Optical rotation depends on concentration of the compound, light path length, the wavelength of the plane polarized light, the temperature. Hence, optical rotation is converted to and expressed as specific rotation. Here I am showing the equation of specific rotation by alpha. So here this angstrom sign is observed rotation in degrees. This alpha defines as the specific rotation of compound at temperature T in degrees Celsius, and wavelength lambda if lambda is equal to 589 nanometers, symbol D is used. C is equal to concentration of solution in gram per ml. and L is the light path length in decimeter. So given this equation is known to you, and if all the parameters are given, you can determine the specific rotation of a chiral compound. Coming to dissociation of amino acids, as you can see, this amino acid at low pH condition, the carboxyl group is protonated. Now, when you add basic solution or NaOH, the carboxyl group will release an proton and the net charge will be 0 because this amino group has plus and this CO group has minus. So, the net group will be 0 and this compound is called zwitterionic structure. Now, if you add further NaOH, the amino group will release proton to become NH2. Now, the net charge is -1. So, this Pi is defined as no net electric charge, which is at this zwitterionic structure. Now, titration of amino acid with NaOH, how it will look like? If you add NaOH solution here and measure the pH, now, as I mentioned, at low pH, the COH will release its proton. If you further add NaOH, there will be a zwitterionic structure where the pH will be equivalent to Pi, and if you further add, the amino group will release its proton. Now, how you will measure Pi of an amino acid? Here I am showing titration of glutamic acid. So at low pH, you can see the alpha carboxyl group is protonated, where the charge is +1 because only NH3 plus is having a charge. Now, if you add basic solution, this alpha carboxyl group will release proton. So now the net charge is 0. So this structure will call it as zwitterionic structure. If you further add NaOH, this side carboxyl group will release proton and then the amino group will release proton. Here, as you see, the net charge is -1 and in this case the net charge is -2. How you will determine Pi then? The Pi will be pK1 plus pKr by 2. Why these two pK1 and pKr we are taking? Because you have to consider the zwitterionic structure and the pH before and after this divided by 2 to give the Pi. Now you have to remember the order of release of proton, which first will be from alpha carboxyl group, then side chain carboxyl or amino group, and then alpha amino group. So there are some amino acids which can absorb UV light, such as tryptophan, tyrosine and phenylalanine, which absorb UV light because they have an aromatic ring with them. As you can see that tryptophan has the highest absorbance, followed by tyrosine and also phenylalanine, which has absorbance near 257.4. This absorbance by these aromatic amino acids are widely used to quantitate proteins. Thank you so much for listening.